Hello, VC. Oh yeah, it's Jarkko and welcome to my vinyl bar. This is the first episode of my new series, album and its singles, in which I'll show you an album and its singles. The honor of being the first album of the series goes to Marillion's third studio album, Misplaced Childhood, released in June 1985. It has been and still is the most commercially successful album. It even reached #1 in the UK album charts. If any of you know any album by Marillion, it's probably this one. And this was the band's first full concept album. So basically the album has two pieces of music on the two sides of the vinyl. And this album features the two most successful singles, Kayleigh and Lavender. It's no surprise that Kayleigh was the song that introduced Marillion to many people. That happened to me also in the summer of 1986, but more about that later in this video. And here are some essential things about this album. Oh, as I said, it was released in 1985, recorded in Germany. Length is not too long, just a little bit more than about 41 minutes, and is released in EMI UK label and Capitol US label, and producer was Chris Kimsey. And the classic lineup was Fish on vocals, Steve Rothery guitars, Mark Kelly played the keyboards, Pete Trevor was on bass, and Jan Mosley on drums. And I've always thought that the original lead singer Fish was and probably still is the best lyricist ever. His lyrics are just so deep and beautiful and touching. And Fish said that he conceived the concept to this album, or to this album's lyrics, during a 10-hour acid trip, but full of lyrics. And of course, music is also just excellent, and especially side A is practically as good as it can get. And here's the track listing. Side 1 and side 2. Then something about the artwork. The boy on the cover art is Robert Mead. Back then he was a 10-year-old boy who happened to live next door to sleeve artist Mark Wilkinson. As with all Marillion albums and singles of the Fish era, the cover art was created by Mark Wilkinson. That little boy also appeared in the music video for Kayleigh and was portrayed on the sleeves of the 3 singles from the album. Do you remember this? The first single from the album, Kayleigh, and the legend has it, according to Steve Rothery, the guitar player, that the guitar part through the verse came from him demonstrating to his then girlfriend what effects the chorus and the delay pedal could add to a guitar sound. And this is their most successful single. Unfortunately, it didn't reach UK #1 spot because of charity single You'll Never Walk Alone by supergroup The Crowd. Does anybody remember that song? I don't. Because Marillion don't have a #1 hit. Is it fair to say that Marillion is no hit wonder? I don't think so. Anyway, this Kayleigh is the song that introduced Marillion to me, and it was kind of an accident because in the summer of 1986 I was listening to one of my older sister's compilation album that she bought from London, and this one song that I have never heard before caught my ears, and basically that was it. And of course the next thing was to try to get that album. And during our holiday trip to Norway, I bought Misplaced childhood album from Trondheim, that's in Norway, and I still love that record. The B-side of this single is the non-album track Lady Nina, the only Fish era song, or Fish era Marillion song to use a drum machine. Maybe not their best track, but a non-album track is always a non-album track. second single is Lavender, and it's the second top 5 UK hit. Sadly, this was the last top 5 hits, but Lavender has such beautiful lyrics, and the song itself recalls the innocence of childhood. And usually Marillion's single versions were shorter than the album versions, but in this case it's the other way around. The single version is more than 1 minute longer, and it has an excellent guitar solo by Steve Rothery. And in fact, all the guitar solos by Steve Rothery are excellent. The 12-inch version of the song is even longer, but unfortunately I don't have that on vinyl yet. And on the B side there's a track called Freaks, and it's another non-album track. Maybe not the best track, but still it has excellent lyrics, like all the best freaks are here, please stop staring at me. Heart of Lothian. This song was released as the third and the last single from Misplaced Childhood. And actually this is very clever song. I'm not an expert in music theory, but normally an ordinary song has just one time signature. You know these things which appear at the beginning of the piece to specify how many beats are in each bar and which note value constitutes one beat. Yeah, complicated stuff, I know. But if I got it right, the album version of this has 4 different time signatures. And that's something pretty rare. And this song also changes the key from minor to major at some point. So it's a very clever song indeed. And B-side has a live version of Chelsea Monday. I'm not even trying to pronounce where it's been recorded. But Heart of Lothian was the third top 40 UK single from Misplaced Childhood. And one more thing about the lyrics of this song. The album version has a verse called Curtain Call, and it has these damn good lyrics. But you're feeling like a wino in a parking lot. How did I get in here anyway? And then there's the last line, which finishes beside A. A man in a mirror had sad eyes. Enough said. And that concludes this first episode of album and its singles. So, what do you think? Was this kind of a video worth an effort? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment and or questions. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see your videos soon. And careful with that needle.